Welcome. So today's repeat movement, wave hands like clouds. We're gonna do our warm-ups, our practice, and then we'll just get right into it. Feet, shoulders width apart. Run through that checklist. Head lifting up, shoulders down, waist relaxed. So we have length from our tailbone to the crown. Knees are nice and soft, and then we'll just do that gentle swinging. Tapping the belly or the lower back. And just gently feeling that turning coming from the spine, moving out through the arms. Feel the connection to the footwork. We'll do a couple more rounds. And we'll slowly ease off. Coming back to center. And then into the shoulders. So you have those options of together, alternating, or the large arm circles, completely up to you. Really just listen to your own body. Make sure you're feeling good. Think about squeezing those shoulder blades together or just drawing it really far back if you're alternating. Nice circles with the big arms. Couple more. And then we'll go the other way. So pulling the shoulder blades apart. Again, alternating is an option. Large arm circles. Whatever feels good. Let's do a couple more. And then we'll go back. The other direction, couple times. Shake them out. And then hips. So nice circles, hands on the hips, arms swinging down, whatever feels good. Remember, slower you move, the more you push out, the more you'll open up through the hips and the lower back. All right, other direction. Feeling that opening as you press into the side and forward. 2 more circles. All right, back to center. Knees and ankles together. Last little bit. Small circles. Other direction. And we're going to add in one more exercise. So coming up, maybe grabbing onto something for balance. Remember, we've gotten into that fair lady, so we'll open up our hips a little bit more by lifting and opening to the side. You can tap in between. Just think about opening. Other ways you can do this are holding and holding to the side, but just getting this nice rotation going is really helpful. All right, 2 more. Last one on this side. Release, shake it out maybe, and then find your balance. Make sure your leg isn't locked. Lift and open. We're really focusing on that lifting. Again, picking a point to look at. Really helpful. Make sure you're breathing. All right, 2 more. Last one. Very nice. Shake it out. Okay. So let's start our practice. Not feeling my best, so we're just going to call out moves challenging you to the most today. So starting at cross hands. Run through that checklist. Relax. Take a breath. And then embrace tiger. Return to the mountain. And push. Roll back. Press. and push. Diagonal single whip. Make the hook and step. Parting the wild horse's mane, shift and turn. Number 1. Step. 2. Close, step. 3. Last one. Grasping the bird's tail, ward off, left. Ward off, right. Roll back. Press. And push. Single whip. Making a hook and step. Fair Lady work shuttles, number 1. Shift and turn. Relax, shift back and step. Left arm underneath, overhead, and push. Number 2, press down, shift back. Big turn away from your screen. Right arm underneath, step, ward off, and push. Number 3, press down. Step. Palms to the sky, left arm out, and push. Last one. Press down. Turn. Palms to the sky. Step. Ward off. And push. Okay, grasping the bird's tail. Ward off left. Back. Turn. Ward off, right. Roll back. Press. And push. Single whip. Okay, drop the arms, check your footwork. How is your footwork for single whip? One of the harder movements. So, do you still have 2 lines if you turned on that heel? Yes. Okay. Yes, that is one of the hardest things, okay? That transition from push to single whip, that's why I want to take that moment and check in. All right, I know that's a challenge. Trust me, I remember what it was like when I started, but let's do it again. It really helps us find that flow, gives us that little bit of extra practice, and then we'll get into wave hands like clouds. So one more time, from cross hands, Embrace tiger, return to the mountain. Shift and turn. Looks like brush knee with a different meaning. Roll back. Bicycling out. Press. And push. Single whip. Stepping, corner direction. Parting the wild horse's mane. Shift and turn. Number 1. Close step. Two. Looking over the right shoulder. And 3. Grasping the bird's tail. Ward off left. Ward off right. Roll back. Press. And push. Single whip. Turning from the whole body. Fair lady work shuttles. Number 1, shift and turn. Everything to the corner. Relax. Step, shuttle, ward off up, and push. Number 2, pressing down. Big turn away from the screen. Ward off and push. Press down. Step. Rotate left arm and leg together and push for number 3 and 4. Press down. Turn. Palms to the sky. Step. Ward off and push. Grasp the bird's tail. Ward off left. Press down. Turn. Close. Step up and down. Shift for ward off right. Roll back. Press. And push. Single whip. All right. If nothing else, you made it. Okay? You made it through that whole section. So be proud. That is not easy. Grab a drink of water. I'm going to do the same. All right. Today is wave hands like clouds. Now we've already done this movement right before we got into the balance or kicking section. Now we're going to review because it's been a little bit, and we're going to have this movement again within the form. So watch one time. I'm going to go from two different directions. I'm going to first go from the direction we normally practice and then show you the arms. So just reviewing and just kind of honing in for a few moments. We shift and we turn. We're going to drop our hook and we're making 2 circles as we step in shoulder width and then double wide. We're going to do 3 rounds. And on the last round, we're going to step to the corner. We're going to make a hook and come back into single whip. Okay, so one more time, just another quick demo so that you can see the arms, okay? We shift and we turn. We come back and we step in. And we're just moving from side to side. Last one, we step to corner direction, make a hook, and then single whip. Okay, so footwork first and foremost. Since we're reviewing, I want to take the time for you to practice and look at your own footwork, because within this stance, remember, we're trying to have parallel footwork all the time throughout our daily life now. We're trying to bring our Tai Chi practice into our daily life. This is one of those opportunities to check in on our footwork. So starting in single whip, give yourself a nice bow stance. Remember, we're going to be shifting along a plank. So the first thing we're going to do is shift our weight back and turn on the left heel. Look down at your foot. Did you make it to the 12 o'clock or straight direction? Now shifting to the left, you're going to step in, shoulder width. Then you're going to shift to the right. Now don't stand up. Stay at this level and just pick up and step. Move across and step in. Now look down. How'd you do? Now shift and step. Shift and step. One more. Stepping wide. How'd you do? Are your feet on one line? Maybe a little off, but straight to 12 o'clock. Shift. Now step to the corner. Almost pigeon-toed. Knees are kind of close because they're following the foot direction. Relax the left foot and then step out for single whip. Okay, not bad, right? The footwork's pretty simple. Let's do it again just to review. And then we're going to get into those arms. So single whip, nice bow stance, shift and turn. Checking point to straight, shift, step in. Moving to the right, stepping out. Now you can touch toes, ball heel, edge of your shoe, or whole foot together. The most preferred method is with the toe, but sometimes that causes the foot to come out. So do what feels good. Stepping in and across so we can step, and we're just moving. Now you can do as many of these as you like as long as it's an odd number. We step to the corner and we go into our bow stance. Okay, so in the traditional form we do 3, but you could do 5 if that felt good. All right, so the arms. Let's talk about the arms for a moment, because within wave hands like clouds, a lot of the times what I'll see is collapsed arms. So I want you to get used to being able to do an arm rotation and keeping this space underneath the arm. This is going to be your goal, okay? So I'm going to mirror you for a moment. Remember, when we practice, we all face the same direction. So we're going to take our right hand out to the side and bring our left arm into ward off. The first thing I want you to notice, how's the space in the arm? I want you to feel like you're big. Okay? We don't want to be close. Okay? And when we're here, I'm showing you from all directions, not back. Relax in the front a little bit. Okay? So we're going to mirror each other. That left arm's going to come up and the right arm's going to go down. And we hit about this center point. And our torso is going to be straight. Now, we're rotating whole arm, right? We know how to rotate our whole arm, not just the hand. We're going to turn our waist and rotate the whole arm to the left side. Then right arm goes up, left arm down. Here's our center point. Then we keep turning to the side. So what's bringing our arms to the side direction? It's our waist. So check in. Your left palm might be to the straight direction, but your torso being turned to the corner is what brought it there, okay? And we're going to come back to center. Everything's in the center. And then we go to the side. Check in. Now we're standing in a parallel stance. Where are you turning from? Are you turning from your hips and closing your legs? Or are you turning from your waist and that middle lower back area? Try to find the flow. So bring to the left side, left palm seated, right palm's in ward off. And then we go up and down to center. And then we keep turning. So essentially, it's just the arm doing this. It's just that one arm is doing one circle this way and we're just making a circle again and again. And then the other arm is doing the exact same thing. Literally the exact same thing with the right arm. And the big thing to check is that we're not closing the arms. See the difference of being really close in versus keeping that space? And we make these nice large circles, okay? So wave hands like clouds is just 2 circles. It's 2 circles with a little bit of a fancy waist turn to bring the arm to the side and then to come back. So let's put it together. Left arm seated, right arm's in ward off, and we go up and down, turning to the side. Back and forth. One big thing to note, cameras are always an illusion. We're not crossing our eyesight, so we're not going to go too high. So can you see over your fingers still? And you turn, and then you turn back. Okay? Again, notice, where does the movement come from? Just like our beginning, turning, it comes from the waist. So the waist is what leads the movement, okay? Now, I know not everyone's here for martial arts, but knowing the meaning and reviewing the meaning will help us understand what we're doing. So if someone is coming at you with an attack, the first thing you do is you're going to connect. Now, if we're connecting to someone in a martial arts situation, would we want to connect when they're really close to us? We'd want to be as far out as possible, right? We'd want to connect out here in this space so that from here we have plenty of room to deal with whatever attack is happening. So first and foremost, keep the space, okay? The next thing is you're connecting over the strongest part of your arm here. And once you connect, you're turning to grab. So this is why, again, it's not a turning of the wrist. We're thinking about having something here and we're turning to grab, okay? Turning to grab, okay? Yes, at this point, this is, the other hand would kind of aid and assist, and you would grab and then waist turning, throw your opponent to the side. Or again, connect, turn and throw your opponent to the side, okay? So, space, martial arts, right? And then turn to grab, but not just arm, right? You can see it very clearly here. It's just arm rotating. Now watch how far my palm and arm disappears when I use the waist. Can you even see it now? Or it just kind of disappeared behind my body. There's no difference from what I'm doing here with rotating to including that waist and doing the rotating. So that's the big thing to note, is I want you to really focus on turning to create the power to connect, turn, and deflect. If you've ever seen some of the Tai Chi movies, Tai Chi Master, there's a great scene where you're throwing things at a ball or at a column and it's just turning and everything's just bouncing off every single direction again and again and again. That's like kind of what this is. It's like someone's coming at you and you turn and you turn and you turn and you just use the middle body to keep kind of going from side to side to side, okay? So now that we know the meaning, let's do a little bit more just the arms before we put it all together. So mirroring you again, left arm seated, right arm rounded. Check that space, right? We have that big space. Why? Because we're connecting. Then we're turning to show grabbing and throwing to the side. And then we connect. And we turn. Connect. Turn. Okay, so finding that beautiful flow. This is why traditional yang style includes the meanings. So we know why we're not just turning from the wrist. Why it's the whole arm rotating together, giving us that movement, keeping everything aligned, allowing that energy to flow freely from the feet through the waist and the spine, out to the hands and fingers. It's all about having that connection and feeling the energy flow. This is one of the special movements where we have what we call a silk reeling energy. So it's this spiraling and turning from side to side where we're just moving and flowing. Whereas most of yang style is ward off. So I want you to enjoy this movement. Find your flow, relax, and let go. Let those shoulders hang down a little bit more. All right, ready? Let's do one more round. We'll do both sides. And then relax. Okay. That one should be feeling really good now. So now what we have to do is just link it to our single whip arm. So remember, when we're doing single whip, we have our hook hand, right? So we have a hook hand. So I would love to try and mirror you, but today is not that day where my brain is functioning at optimum levels thanks to being sick. So I just want you to watch just the arms. I'm going to stay a little bit closer. So when we have the hook, we have our palm, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn and we're going to come to the side direction. Now, when we come to the side direction, what happened to the hook? It went from our corner and now it's going to straight. Now remember, these references are always to you being in your own little square box. So as we turn, the left arm comes across and the right hook hand is going to go to straight. So I want you to really make sure that the torso is turned, the hook is to straight, and then that left palm is seated, okay? So from here, the arm movements are just going to be turning, and you're going to let that hook open, and you're going to do wave hands like clouds. 1, 2, okay, and then the last one, we're going to do the left side, and then we're going to do wave hands. But at the last moment here, you're going to make a hook, you're going to drop your left elbow, and you're going to do single whip. Not bad, right? So it's just about how we combine those movements together, okay? So let's try to add it with the footwork. It will make a little bit more sense and be a little bit easier. So bow stance, hook hands where? To the corner. Remember, single whip, torso's vertical. Nice hook hand, extend those fingers nice and long. Left palm is seated. Okay, torso is kind of open to this corner right now. We're going to shift our weight back. Then we're going to turn on that left heel and bring the arms where? Hooks to straight. Left palm is kind of just facing towards that corner. Now as you shift back, you're going to open up the hook. You're going to come to the left side and step in. Then when your weight is in the center, the arms are in the center. Then you turn to the right side and you step out. Up and down. Moving to the left, step in. Centered. Weight, torso, and arms. Weight's in the right leg, torso's turned, arms are to the side. Step out. Center. Side. Step to the corner. Now, make the arms go so that your hook will end up to the corner direction. Then you can step and push. Okay, linking it together now, right? So let's do it again. Let's practice a few times. We're just kind of checking where we are for the first 2 rounds here, and then we're going to flow a little bit more. Single whip. Wave hands like clouds. Shift back. Now turn. Hook to straight, torsos to the corner. Where's your weight? Now, show pulling as you step. Connect. We're turning and shifting our weight. Step. Centered. Left side. Step in. Notice your weight. Everything's in the center. Everything's on the right. Step. Center. Left side. Step corner. Make a hook. Single whip. Okay. How'd you do? Feeling better? Okay. Now let's find our flow. We're going to flow through it a few times, and then I want to give you a couple of things to work on throughout the next week, because our next movement is going to challenge our hip flexibility a little bit. So I do want to give you a little something to work on. All right, so single whip, wave hands like clouds 3 times, single whip. Okay, great starting position. Shift and turn. Nice circles. Find your flow. Stepping in. Then we say stepping double wide. Shoulder width. Double wide. And then shoulder width, but to the corner direction. Making a hook. Single whip. So the cool thing is if you really wanted to get in the flow and you had a nice long space, you could just keep going forever, okay? The fun thing is once you get comfortable with this movement, we have a circular version that we do in the essential form, which is a lot of fun. So it's a little bit of a different footwork, but it's a lot of fun because you turn as you do wave hands. Now, we'll talk about that in another day, but let's do it again. Single whip, wave hands like clouds into single whip. Okay, shift and turn. Relax that hook. Arms are nice and rounded. Big, large frame. Stepping double wide. Shoulder width. And then last one, quarter direction, single whip. All right. Enjoying it? I love this movement. It is one of the only times that we really do see this circular motion. Most of what we see in Yang style is forward. Even if Fair Lady, forward, right? Ward off, forward, ward off left. So enjoy this time within these circles, okay? Let's do it one more time, and then I'm going to give you all those tips for opening up the hips throughout the next week, and just generally, I should say, so that you can kind of find a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more comfort in your bow stances. So, single whip, wave hands like clouds, single whip. Okay, shift, turn. Number one, stepping in to the right side. Step, center, left side, step in. Last one, we step double wide. We turn, and then we step shoulder width to the corner. Make that hook, single whip. All right. Okay. So I want to show you what's next. And I'm going to show you a lot of things that we can do to help open up our hips. So we have our single whip movement. The next movement is called snake creeps down. Now I'm going to show you two different ways of doing this, okay? So we have the first requirement for everyone is opening up so that both feet are to the corner. This is going to feel like Fair Lady work shuttles. We're going to come back. Now, if we have the flexibility, we sink down. Then we come up and we're going to close. The actual end of this movement is in the downward position. Now what I want to show you, smaller bow stance. What does it usually look like? I love to push the limits. I'm going to make myself feel young until I just can't do it anymore, okay? But for single whip, snake creeps down. Same exact thing, okay? The big thing I want to note, I'm going to grab a chair. How do we gain flexibility? Now I'm showing you in a regular chair. I want you to grab an ottoman, a stool, a small trash can that you can flip over, any of those things. First thing, not something women should normally do, something I want you to do. Turn the feet out to the corners. Okay, backing up so you can see. Both feet out to the corners. Can you keep your knees in line? Okay, use the muscles to do so. Sit on the edge of the chair, okay? Can you open? If that's difficult, I want you to ease off, and I want you to eventually, see, can you get them both to 45 degrees, okay? That's going to be the big thing. Remember, we're in the center of our own box. This right here is Fair Lady work shuttles. This is diagonal flying and single whip. This is the flexibility you need. Now, that's intense. Another great thing, just sitting in your chair, figure fours. Take one ankle, cross it to your knee. Think about pressing your foot down to the ground, or your knee down to the ground. You can tell I'm not at optimum levels today. Okay, press down to the knee. This is going to help open up the hips. You can do this in a reclined position as well, laying on your back, same exact thing, but these are great options, and then do both sides. Okay, eventually, you take that chair, you find something lower, and you see, can you squat down, okay? You sit on an ottoman, you sit on a trash can, and you see how low can you go, okay? Because this is building the strength. Now remember, I'm turning off angle, but the difference is this versus this, okay? So if it's hard to have both feet where you have that huge gap here, take them a little bit off right now, okay? Work on building the strength. The big thing being when both feet, it's called a sumo squat if you look it up for strength training. When you're here, I don't want you to be leaning back, okay? Tuck the tailbone down. Don't do this. Think about using all of this inner thigh muscle and just can you squat down a little bit, okay? Think about the length of your bow stance and can you squat down a little bit, keeping these legs open, okay? This is going to challenge the strength of your inner thighs here, okay? It's just going to help you overall. Now, after that, take a second and then always make sure to stretch out through the legs to give yourself that nice stretch. Remember, we do a lot in Tai Chi with our legs. This is where we get that balance from, but we want to make sure that we take the time to stretch out our body afterwards, especially when we're doing strength training, things like that, or opening up through the hips. This not only helps release through the quad, but can also help with your hip flexors as well. So if you want, you can lean a little bit more into it and that will intensify this stretch as well. All right, that is a lot of information for today, but I hope you're feeling good after Wave Hands Like Clouds. Next week, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna challenge ourselves, but it's gonna be great, all right? Thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure having you here.